What a surprising wildcard weekend thus far of the National Football League 2021 postseason. So much to unpack here, including which teams are looking the most impressive thus far after last night's game, or last weekend's, I should say, Saturday and Sunday, as well as what's going on with the officiating and all the questions that we want to unpack on this brand new episode of Time to Football. Glad you guys were able to join us. My name is Hassan Khan, the host of this channel that we like to call Time to Football. Wildcard weekend has been off to a great start, and it's not over yet, as tonight the LA Rams and the Arizona Cardinals go head-to-head NFC West division titles for the chance to advance to the divisional round. Glad you guys are able to join us on this wonderful, marvelous Monday morning. Wow, lots happened, man. A lot has happened from the start of it, from the Raiders and the Bengals giving us a good show, to the end of it, where you got to see Ben Roethlisberger ride off, probably not into the sunset, like John Elway, Peyton Manning, Ray Lewis, those kind of guys in their NFL career. And it was kind of a disappointing end for Ben Roethlisberger, but you saw him complete his final pass to Gentry, and that was it. That's the end of Ben Roethlisberger and his career. Congratulations to him. I remember watching football. The first season that I ever watched football was Sunday. Was the start of Sunday Night Football in 2006. So the 2006 season was when I began. And Brady, both Mannings, Roethlisberger, Rivers, Rodgers, those are the quarterbacks that I grew up with. Breeze, those are the quarterbacks that I grew up watching, and to see Ben Roethlisberger was kind of bittersweet, and seeing him ride off into the darkness, not the sunset, because I don't want to say that he finished off on a good note, but I think he's satisfied and he's content with this being his final career or career game, and putting an end to his career. So congratulations to Ben Roethlisberger. You guys can continue to join us throughout the show, throughout the duration of the live chat. I encourage you guys to do that. For instance, we got Jordanian Poppy saying, "Good morning, my dude." Jordanian, thank you for tuning in. Good morning as we start a brand new week. Monday Night Football here tonight on ESPN between the Rams and the Cardinals. Definitely leave your comments down below. Who do you guys got? Who do you guys think is going to win this game? And also leave your thoughts throughout the duration of the show as well. We're going to have a segment where we interact with the guys in the live chat. Let us know your thoughts on Wild Card weekend. What was the biggest surprise? What was the biggest upset? What was whatever your thoughts are. What was something that needed to change? You know, your opinion on the officiating, which we're going to be talking about later on the show in its own segment. But before we get into all that, as always, every single day we have to talk about NFL news and notes that's going around the league. To recap everything as far as injuries go. So some big-time players have suffered some significant injuries, including Nick Bosa. He suffered a concussion. He was taken out of the game, was not able to come back into that game. And that might have affected the outcome of the game. Well, I wanted to say the outcome because the 49ers still won. But it might have affected the pace of the game, the fact that the Cowboys were able to come back in that game and make it as close as it were, and the fact that the Cowboys are under so much controversy right now. Not the Cowboys themselves, but the officiating, and the Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys fans are getting upset about that. Maybe Nick Bosa's injury had a lot to do with that, because this game may not have been that close if Nick Bosa still stayed in that game. But Nick Bosa has a concussion. He's going to go into concussion protocol. He was out for the remainder of the game. His status for next week against Green Bay is up in the air, which would be a big loss for the San Francisco 49ers if he misses this game. Tristan Wirfs, another big-time player in his second season, has been looking great for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now his status is up in the air as well. He had an ankle injury, was taken out of the game momentarily, came back in. They thought, okay, well, he's still hobbling out there. Just get out of there. No need to keep him in there. And Tristan Wirfs will be reevaluated to see if he's going to have the opportunity to play this Sunday, hosting against either the Rams or the Cardinals, which we'll get the answer to that after tonight's game. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'll talk about the Buccaneers and Bruce Arians. It was an interesting decision for Bruce Arians to leave Tom Brady, to leave so many starters in this game. Ryan Jensen on the offensive line. There's so many analysts out there that are saying, "Oh, why don't you just take him out? You're up 31-0." And eventually the Eagles came back, but still, like, it would have taken a lot for the Eagles to win. So you could have just in the third quarter, taking out Tom Brady, and you would have been completely fine because Tom Brady didn't really do much when the score was 31-0. It was a bunch of 3-and-outs, maybe a first down here and there, but they had to punt the ball a lot. So the fact that Bruce Arians kept them in the game even after Tristan Wirfs suffering that injury, it's something I'm trying to wrap my head around. But hey, I mean, it's his team. He coaches it, so he made that decision on his own. Trey Hendrickson has a concussion as well. He suffered that concussion. He had a big strip sack in that game that kind of catapulted the Bengals to beat the Las Vegas Raiders. And now he's going to be evaluated for concussion. We don't know whether he's going to be playing this Sunday or this Saturday, I should say, against the Tennessee Titans. Larry Ogunjobi, defensive tackle that came from Cleveland, went to the Bengals and had some sort of career resurrection or just has having a great season with the Cincinnati Bengals. He suffered a foot injury. He was carted off the field, so keep in mind his status moving forward. Josh Sweat. So if you guys don't know who he is a defensive end, very talented for the Philadelphia Eagles. He did not play in this game for the Eagles this past Sunday, but I just wanted to go ahead and mention his injury. He was inactive, and he has an abdomen injury. Now, according to him, he said that it was life-threatening. And Nick Sirianni didn't give too many details, but he said that, yes, it's an abdomen injury. That's all I'll say about it. That's all we know about it. So whatever Josh Sweat is going through, we hope the best for him. We hope it's not anything too serious. According to him, it was. But it seems like he's going to be recovering well. So that's why he was inactive in that game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Looking forward to tonight's game. We have injuries to the Arizona Cardinals, particularly. Rondale Moore has an ankle injury. He's going to be a game-time decision. Has been playing as of late, but he could be a game-time decision. They're going to test him out and warm-ups and see if he's good to go. Here's a rare case. Both James Conner and Chase Edmonds are active for this game. Usually it's one or the other. Usually it's James Conner, usually it's Chase Edmonds, but now you got both that are active. I think this is the first time they've been active since, oh my gosh, I want to say since the beginning of that losing streak that they've been on, since they lost 4 out of their last 5 games. This is the first time since then. I could be wrong, but that should go ahead and tell you, like, hey, maybe the Cardinals are a better team when you have both James Conner and Chase Edmonds active. Because if one of them is out, you're losing 4 of the last 5 games. So they're both going to be active. So that's going to be a big, big upgrade for the Arizona Cardinals. And then DeAndre Hopkins, I think we already were aware of this, but he's still dealing with an injury. He is going to be inactive for this game. Potentially could be back for, at earliest, the NFC Championship game is what a lot of people are predicting. Now to get outside of the injury news and get into more of the NFL topics and rumors out there. So Nick Sirianni, after the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jalen Hurts, 253 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Not the best showing from Jalen Hurts. And this is kind of like the stat line, minus the turnovers, because he's been okay with the turnovers. Not the greatest, but he hasn't been bad. This stat line is kind of like a Jalen Hurts stat line. Okay, well, you get like 30, 40 rushing yards on the ground. I mean, 253 yards is actually a lot for Jalen Hurts. Usually he's on the border of even getting 200 yards passing. A touchdown, sure. Nick Sirianni said after the game he believes in Jalen Hurts. He feels like that he improved throughout the duration of the season. And, I mean, that kind of points towards the direction of, well, maybe they're going to stick with Jalen Hurts moving forward for the Philadelphia Eagles. Hey, definitely let me know your thoughts on that. I want to know, do you think Jalen Hurts should stick around in 2022? I mean, I think that maybe he was dealt with a wrong hand. Some people could say with like all the injuries, the COVID-19 diagnosis, maybe he just wasn't. Like Howie Roseman is just not doing a good job of like drafting those players for the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, you could have had Justin Jefferson. I actually saw a tweet yesterday that was actually kind of hilarious. I don't know who it was from. Otherwise, I'd give him credit. But Jalen Reagor muffed a couple of punts. And someone said, if Justin Jefferson was drafted by the Eagles, then he wouldn't muff those punts because he's not a return specialist, and he would have put him in the back. So it's still a win-win for the Philadelphia Eagles if they drafted Justin Jefferson 1 pick before the Minnesota Vikings instead of Jalen Reagor. They regret that. But can you imagine if Jalen Hurts, Justin Jefferson, and Devontae Smith were on that offense? Mixing Dallas Goedert. People would be talking about, oh man, like Jalen Hurts is like a really good quarterback because he's got 2 really good first-round talent wide receivers on his team. But Nick Sirianni, going back to what we were talking about, is a believer in Jalen Hurts, and he wants to ride with him in 2022. That's the vibe that we're picking up on. They also have 3 first-round picks, by the way, if they want to go ahead and make a trade offer for Deshaun Watson. Just saying. Russell Wilson is exploring his options for 2022. This is per Ian Rappaport that he broke this news last night around halftime of that Pittsburgh Steelers-Chiefs game. He said Russell Wilson, from what he's hearing, is exploring his options moving forward in 2022. What does that mean? I don't know. No one knows. But there's a list of teams out there that are looking for quarterbacks on the trade market. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the newest team on that market. The Denver Broncos, we already know. The New Orleans Saints, we already know. A lot of teams that are in the market for a quarterback, searching in the trade market. And Russell Wilson is now exploring his options for 2022. That's all that was said by Ian Rappaport. And then finally, if we want to talk about the trade market, this is per Mike Garafolo, am I pronouncing his name correctly, of NFL Network. He stated that he would not be surprised if Calvin Ridley were to get traded by the Atlanta Falcons to another team. That's the inception by Steve Weish, who works for NFL Network. And Steve Weish is very, very well connected around the Atlanta area. This show is based out of the Atlanta area. We're around here, and we know that, actually, as a matter of fact, I went to high school with Steve Weich's son. And so he's really well plugged in with the Atlanta Falcons and the Atlanta Falcons organization as well. And Steve Weish reported that I wouldn't be surprised if the Atlanta Falcons and Calvin Ridley mutually agreed to part ways. We trade him away. I don't think anything less than a first rounder. Maybe if Calvin Ridley is still dealing with like mental health issues and wants to sit out more, then like that's going to lower his value to maybe a second rounder. But anything lower than that, no. I mean, I think the Falcons, I don't know. And Mike Garafolo, who reported this news, said, yeah, I mean, this is just an educated guess. I don't think that this is like a report, but just an educated opinion based off the situation, based off of what I'm hearing. Yes, it seems like that the Falcons and Calvin Ridley and their group, their group, their team are ready to move on. And move forward because Calvin Ridley may just need a change of pace, just may need a different environment. But that is your NFL news and notes for today. You guys are continuing to join us in the live chat. I'm going to go ahead and take a break real quick and see what you guys are saying. Damian Rivera, happy Monday, my friend. Let's go Niners. Yes, you've been talking about the San Francisco 49ers, and I've been talking about them being a dark horse team. I mean, since the Cincinnati Bengals, I think, are pretty much eliminated from the conversation of being a dark horse team, I think they're one of the favorites now in the AFC to make it. Dark horse team in the NFC, yeah, 49ers. Now, this game against the Green Bay Packers is going to be very, very tough, but the fact that they lost to them only by 2 points, only by a field goal last time they played, okay, I'm okay with that. I think the 49ers have a shot at winning this game. And the fact that the 49ers have had the number for the Green Bay Packers for a very long time. In the Matt LaFleur era, in 2019 especially, like blowing them out twice, once in the NFC Championship game. Yeah, 49ers, don't sleep on them. Jordanian Poppy, why a QB draw with 14 seconds left, no timeouts, shaking my head. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about that. We're going to be talking about that in just a second because we're going to be talking about next, actually, the officiating in that game, which we're going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys. And then we're going to be talking about the most impressive teams in the playoffs. And then we're going to be getting back to you guys in the live chat. I don't know. Okay. I don't know if you guys get these notifications, the community tab on YouTube, I just have fun with it. I just post whatever the frick I want on YouTube, like it's social media, and that's it. And you guys interact with it. Well, the funniest thing in the freaking world, I saw the funniest thing ever during the Bills-Patriots game. Evan Washburn, he's the reporter for CBS, is known for having the most perfect, gelled, slicked back hair in the freaking world. And then I saw that, and then I was like, wow, it is 6 degrees outside. I took a picture of it. I posted immediately to YouTube, and I just went off the top of my head, said exactly what I was saying. So I'm just going to show you guys this, what I posted. It was so freaking funny. I could not stop. I could not stop laughing for like 5 minutes. Well, guys, when we thought this hair was already rock hard, the 6-degree weather is making sure there's no room for his gel to evaporate. His hair is what's used to headbutt trees at Pokemon games. His hair is what Diamond Dallas Page named his move the Diamond Cutter after. His hair caused a butt fumble. Absolutely 100% never seen atoms closer together in my life than I've seen in his hair in 6-degree weather. This thing is so freaking solid. It's rock solid. It's frozen. It's frozen. Hey, if there's any remnants of like water or gel or anything that hasn't dried yet, don't worry about it. It's ice. It's ice. Hey, man, you got a little bit of dandruff in your hair. Oh, no. It's ice. Oh. Okay. I saw that and I could not stop laughing. That was incredible. All right. Now let's get into the next topic for today's show, the officiating. Dude, what just happened? Hey, what just happened with the Dallas Cowboys and also the Las Vegas Raiders? This wildcard weekend was very, very, very interesting, to say the least. Now, you can see down in the topic bar, I put down a picture of Jerome Boger because he's been a topic of discussion because his team and him are banished to the shadow realm for the rest of the postseason. Will not be officiating another playoff game for this postseason. Why? Well, if you guys are already caught up, if you're not caught up, let me just go ahead and briefly explain what happened. During the Raiders and the Bengals game, it came down to the Raiders on defense, Bengals on offense, Joe Burrow rolling out to the right, throwing a touchdown pass to Tyler Boyd. But there was discussion on, okay, he was close to being out of bounds, but he eventually threw that touchdown pass while he was still in the air. And the whistle was blown before the before the touchdown happened. And a lot of confusion happened. Actually, as a matter of fact, the crew got together and discussed for a very long time. Hey, there was an inadvertent whistle. Does that mean that we're ruling Joe Burrow out of bounds, or does that mean that a touchdown actually happened? Well, they discussed it, and they said that, nope, a touchdown actually did happen in that play. Now, here's the thing. This is what's wild about it. The whistle was blown while the ball was in the air. So, shouldn't you just say, okay, the ruling on the field is an incomplete pass? That's what the ruling should have been. If there was a whistle before the touchdown, it should have been an incomplete pass. I'm not saying that he didn't actually throw a touchdown. He did. But the ruling should have been an incomplete pass. That's where the referees messed up. And then later on, the vice president or someone of officiating was asked during an interview, like, hey, what happened in that game? Do you agree that there was an inadvertent whistle in that game? And then he said, the refs talked about it, and they said it was a touchdown. So there was no inadvertent whistle? And then he said, yes, there was an inadvertent whistle. So it just doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Like, let me know your thoughts and your opinions. Like, what just happened? What happened in that game? Maybe that could have been the altering factor in the Raiders eventually coming back and maybe potentially sending this game to overtime or winning this game. I don't know. but it did factor a lot of things in that game, and Joe Burrow was eventually to sneak away with a touchdown in that game. I mean, I don't think the whistle should have been blown in the first place, but if you did blow a whistle, then the play should have been incomplete. And then, from my knowledge, Zach Taylor could not challenge that because if a whistle is blown, then a whistle is blown. Like it's like the play is dead, and then anything that happens after that, you can't review that, which I think is stupid. But that's to my knowledge. And then yesterday, with the 49ers and the Cowboys. So Dak Prescott, like we had a viewer, Jordanian Poppy, comment down below. Why did they run a quarterback draw on fourth down, but with 14 seconds left? And Mike McCarthy, after the game, stated, okay, do we want a 50-yard Hail Mary pass, or do we want 5 verticals on on the 25-yard line? That was the thinking behind it. Now, there was a rule. There's a rule of thumb that John Gruden has always said is you got to leave 18 seconds on the clock if you're in those kind of situations to get up, run up, spike the ball. 18 seconds minimum. That's his rule of thumb. Cowboys flirted with disaster. They played with fire. Said 14 seconds is enough. Now, a couple of things. If the referee was faster, if he ran faster, then it would have been fine. They would have gotten the ball off. They would have snapped it. They would have clocked it with 1 second left. 1 second left. Number 2, this is a college football. The ball doesn't, or the clock doesn't stop after you get first down for the refs to come back and set the ball down. So the clock just keeps on running. So this is my analysis on everything. With the Raiders, it was legitimately a mistake by the officiating team. With the Dallas Cowboys, no mistake. It just sucks. I know that's not what Cowboys fans want to hear. I get that, and I sympathize with you guys. Like, that necessarily isn't 100% your fault, but going into it, you know the rules. You know that, okay, if I'm going to run a quarterback draw, if I'm going to complete this pass up the middle, whatever it may be, I know that the referee has to set the ball first before I can snap the ball. You know that. You know that's a thing. But they still decided to run with a quarterback draw. Still decided to do it. So I'm going to say it's like 50-50. Like, yeah, the ref should have been faster. Yeah, they kind of messed up. Yeah, but you should have handed the ball off to the referee. And then, okay. So, like, a win is a win for the 49ers. Regardless of how it happened, a win is a win. For the Raiders, that 100%, that play was not the Raiders' fault. That was a legitimate mistake. The officiating all day was just off. Like, they would just spend time after time in huddles and just talk about it for so long. That play, other plays as well. The Raiders get screwed again. The Cowboys, probably you could say they get screwed, but I don't know. Not okay, and I'm not taking away from the 49ers and the Bengals. Obviously, they played tough, and they all were deserving of winning. But leave your comments down below. I want to hear your thoughts on the officiating of this game because it was, to say the least, wild during the Wildcard weekend. All right, now I'm going to talk about the most impressive teams from this past weekend. We still got one game left between the Cardinals and the Rams, and one of these teams could be joining the conversation of, okay, blowing these teams out of the water and looking the most impressive in Wild Card weekend. But as of right now, from Saturday's games, from Sunday's games, which teams looked the best? I'm going to narrow it down to 3 teams. I'm going to go from the third best all the way down to the number 1 best, most impressive looking team from this past weekend. Number 3, I'm going to say it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, they were at the point of being 31-0 in that game, which was great, which is fantastic. But the reason I don't want to put them up at number 2 or number 1 is because the pace of the game was a little bit slow. Like, they slowly but surely scored those 31 points. And also, given the fact that you almost let the Eagles come back and only won by 2 possessions, it's still an impressive victory to shut out the Eagles for so many quarters. But the fact that you let the Eagles come back and have a glimpse and a glimmer of hope of eventually coming back and winning this game, I got to rank you guys at number 3. Number 2, Kansas City Chiefs. And the reason why I don't put them at number one, even though they were just passing the ball 400 yards passing from Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce got in on the fun of throwing a passing touchdown. Tyreek Hill looking impressive. Jerick McKinnon as well. The fact that I don't put them at number one is because in the beginning, the first quarter of that game, it started off slow. The Steelers, whatever they wanted to happen in the first quarter of that game happened. Like they wanted to win the coin toss. They wanted to get the ball first because they wanted to slow the momentum of the Chiefs. They knew that if the Chiefs came out first quarter, first opening drive, they would have thrown pass after pass after pass, touchdown, would have shifted the momentum of that game. They wanted to slow things out, even though it was a 3-and-out. They were able to punt the ball back, and the Chiefs got another 3-and-out. And they were able to hold them to 0-0 score, get some interceptions. But then after that, they kind of just, the Chiefs kind of broke loose and looked impressive after that. But the first quarter kind of worried me because it looked like the glimmer of the 3-4 Kansas City Chiefs that we saw in the beginning half of this season. So, yeah, I got to put the Chiefs down at number two. But the number one most impressive showing from this past weekend, you got to hand it to the Buffalo Bills. There was no team that was more impressive than the Bills this past weekend. And I don't even say this because of the score. Scoring 47 points. Not scoring a single field goal. Not scoring or not having a single punt in that game. Not a single turnover. I think that's the first time in a postseason game that's ever happened that a team has put up over 40 points and hasn't had a punt, a turnover, or a field goal converted in that game. That's all impressive. But the reason I put them down as the number one team is because of the level of competition. They face a Patriots team that is not that bad. They face a Patriots defense that is not that bad. And that offense, clicking, motor. Devin Motor Singletary getting it done on the ground with over 80 rushing yards. Josh Allen getting it done on the ground and through the air. Dawson Knox being his favorite target. This Bills team is a team that I would be scared of. And if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs who lost to the Bills earlier this season at Arrowhead, you're going to have to game plan differently. Now, the Bills have slipped up throughout the season at times, so they are beatable. But the most impressive team so far that I saw from Wildcard weekend, just from the Wildcard weekend, not including the Tennessee Titans or the Green Bay Packers, just the Wildcard teams, the Buffalo Bills, are the most impressive. Leave your thoughts, leave your opinions, leave your comments. Would love to hear your thoughts. All right. Now we've got the live chat. What are you guys saying down below in the comments? And let's go ahead and interact with you guys. How about the 49ers? Steven Sock saying that. Yes, I know we talked about it last week. You were talking about asking me if the 49ers are going to be the wild card team or the dark horse team, and it's looking like the 49ers, led by Deebo Samuel, of all people. I say of all people because usually it's the quarterback that gets the job done, and Jimmy G has been getting the job done. But Deebo Samuel is the offensive MVP of that team, without a doubt. Krigley Blitz saying, what's up? What's up, Krigley Blitz? Almost said Krigley Bitch. Krigley Blitz. Got it. Melee. Jalen is good, has future potential. Yes. Okay. Kind of. So, I know that a lot of the audience is fantasy football minded, and I was so big on Jalen Hurts this year in fantasy football. I was like, you can go back, you can watch a video that we came out with back in August, I feel like, or maybe it was July. Anyways, we talked about Jalen Hurts, how, hey, he doesn't have to be this prolific passer to be good in fantasy football. And I think people look at fantasy football numbers like, oh my gosh, this quarterback is really good. And even though I said, hey, Jalen Hurts is going to be a good fantasy quarterback, in the passing game, he's not going to do much, but in fantasy football, he's going to do amazing. I said that because going into it, I was like, being like the future franchise quarterback of the Eagles, it's kind of up in the air. But just for this season, for 2021, he's going to have a good season fantasy-wise. And now those rumors and those conversations are coming back up like, hey, maybe Jalen Hurts is not the guy. Maybe it's either we should move on with Gardner Minshew. Maybe it's we should draft someone. Maybe we should trade for Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, whoever it may be. Like maybe we should trade for someone. Jalen Hurts is Nick Sirianni believes in him, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Jordanian Poppy talking about his hair is crunchy. Yeah, Evan Washburn, it absolutely is, man. I could eat it and just I'd break some teeth in the process, but you would just hear crunch, crunch, crunch if you were to eat his hair. Yeah, the ref also ran into the line man, wasting 1 to 2 seconds. I agree. You just ran into him. Yes, that's his fault. But the lineman, Dak, whoever, should have just given him the ball. You worry about it. Also, this is another interesting note that I realized. Say, for instance, I don't know particularly where the ball was down at, right? So say, for instance, the ball, Dak Prescott runs it. He starts to slide at like the 27-yard line. But he eventually finishes and gets up at the 24-yard line. Well, Dak is just going to stand there and put the ball down at the 24-yard line. And the ref who ran off from the back, I don't know why there wasn't someone from the side who had a better view of Dak and where he was down. But from the back, a ref ran up and placed the ball down at the 24. So if the Cowboys got the snap off and got a touchdown, would we have been talking about, hey, maybe the ball should have been placed like 3 yards back where he initially started the slide? Because the referee, in his mind, he was thinking like, oh, I got to be fast and I just have to set this ball wherever the Cowboys say, hey, where are you putting the ball? Oh, I'm going to put it at the 24. Cool. Let me get the ball. Let me put it down. That's pretty much what happened. He didn't go back. He didn't like place the ball back where Dak Prescott began the slide. He placed it where Dak Prescott got up from the slide. So there's just a lot of things that like, hey, refs, maybe we got to get some things together. But again, like the Cowboys they should have been aware of the rules with 14 seconds. You kind of playing with fire right there. Gabriel saying 2 things Jerome Boger and Dak Prescott both share. Both couldn't handle the rules, and that's why both won't be at another playoff game this year. Oof, yeah. I mean, it's sad about Jerome Boger and false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down. But I grew up watching him, and he's been a good referee for so long. And yeah, it is kind of disappointing with Jerome Boger. Like that's just, in a sense, it's just disappointing. And then Dak Prescott, I don't know if you guys saw his comments afterwards when he was saying like, yeah, the Cowboys fans shouldn't have thrown the trash at the Cowboys players. Oh, but Dak, they were actually throwing it at the referees. Oh, well, credit to them. Credit to them. A lot of people are probably going to like freak out at that and be like, Dak Prescott has no class. Saying that, yeah, throw trash at referees. That's not classy at all. Dak Prescott has no class, and that's why the Cowboys suck. Dude, speaking of no class, I saw I'm going to pull this up right now. I saw the most infuriating photo probably on Instagram ever. Okay, Kirk Herbster, if you guys are college football fans, congratulations to you. I mean, that's awesome. I have nothing against well, for the most part, I have nothing against college football. Like that's awesome. I like college football. I like watching, my Georgia Bulldogs go Dogs, and I love watching the players that are going to go into the NFL. Kirk Herbster is a commentator for for college football. And I guess he's like the main guy. Like he's the main color commentator, like how Troy Aikman is for Fox, or how Tony Romo is for CBS, Chris Collinsworth for NBC. I think Kirk Herbster is the main guy for ESPN college football, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm correct. But yeah, Kirk Herbster, I think he also called a playoff game, which I was like, get some NFL guys up in here. But he did a good job. He did a very good job calling that game. But Yeah, so he commented this. This was regarding players, with like the whole NIL and the whole like transfer portal now being bigger than ever. People wanting to transfer out, people wanting to sit out, opt out of bowl games because number one, they're pointless. Number two, we're getting ready for the NFL draft. This is what Kirk Herbster had to say about that. I think this era of player just doesn't love football. Kirk Herbstreit on college players opting out of bowl games. Dude, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Dude, come on. Hey, Colin Cowherd is the same way. Hey, Colin, Baker Mayfield went to a party. He shouldn't be doing that. That is just not the right kind of leadership that you should bring to the Cleveland Browns. Baker Mayfield should not be having fun. Oh, someone let Colin Cowherd know. He was at a basketball game. Yeah, this is ridiculous, man. Kirk Herbstreit is the same way. The exact same way. I don't get it, man. I understand, like, you got the older audience that goes on Facebook and they're like, yeah, we demand respect out of those fans. But then you got the younger audience that's on Instagram and TikTok. They're like, players can do whatever the heck they want. Let them have fun as long as it don't break any team rules. Sure. As long as they're not a distraction to, sure. Do whatever you want. Let them have fun. And then Kirk Herbstreit said, I think this era of player just doesn't love football, opting out of bowl games. They're looking ahead to their future. Why risk an injury when you're going to make millions and millions of dollars playing in the NFL for a bowl game, which, number one, bowl games are pointless in my opinion. I think if you don't make the championship, you should not be playing. Make the playoffs. There's no reason. What's the point? Hey, we won the PlayStation 5 Bowl. Hey, we won the Prize Picks Bowl. Hey, I'm debating on whether I should say something or not. I'll leave off. Hey, we won the Fleshlight Bowl. I don't know what sponsors they have. Anyways. Yeah, bowl games are pointless. What's the point? But anyways, that ties back to Dak Prescott saying like, oh, cool, credit to them for throwing trash at the referees. And then the mob is going to be like, classless comment by Dak Prescott. He doesn't actually like want to inflict harm on them. He's just like mad and upset after losing like the biggest game of the season for them. Like it's whatever. Anyways. All right. Moving on. Who are the Bills playing next? Melee. They were playing the Bengals. Or no, they were playing the Chiefs. My bad. The Titans play the Bengals. Yeah, they are on the road. Bills should be the favorite against the Chiefs. That's what Wale is saying. Whale or Wale, like the rapper. They should be. I mean, after the Wildcard performance by the Buffalo Bills, I was very, very, very impressed by the Buffalo Bills. I was like, my goodness. I could not believe that they're handling the Patriots like in that fashion. Like that was impressive by the Buffalo Bills. As a Niners fans, it's frustrating to see Jimmy G miss wide open receivers and throw interceptions by forcing the ball. We can't make those mistakes. Jimmy G does have a tendency to do that. I know a lot of people say Baker Mayfield is kind of in the same category of like, hey, Odell's open. You have a touchdown. And Baker Mayfield does not look his way. And it could be just because, like, Kevin Stefanski has, like, the coaching has really, like, put it onto the quarterbacks. Like, Kyle Shanahan could have been the same way with Jimmy G, where, hey, he's not your first read. This guy's your third read. So look for your first read, which could be like Deebo Samuel, for instance. Look for your first read, and even though he's guarded heavily, you could have Brandon Ayuk, who's your third read, after George Kittle maybe who's your second. You're not throw him the ball when he's wide open, and that's probably why. Like they're probably sticking to the game plan, sticking to the book. Those kind of quarterbacks. So yeah, Jimmy G does have a tendency to do that. Gabriel asking, what do you think about Allen Robinson, Mike Williams, and Juju Smith-Schuster? Where will they play next year? Well, so we actually got something cool coming out on TikTok. I did an experiment for this, but I may come out with this like closer to free agency because it's going to get more traction. So like right after the Super Bowl, I'll start posting these. But I posted a little bit of a preview talking about the Detroit Lions, where I say, hey, I wasted my money on Madden 22 because that game is, oh my gosh, the worst Madden I've ever played in my life. And I'm very like open-minded to everything. Like when people say, oh, this Madden just is getting worse and worse, worse every year. Every year I'm like I buy it like every 2 years, so I don't like spend that much money. I buy it on Black Friday, so it's half off. And I'm like, okay, for like 2 year, like a 2 year roster update for $30, sure. Like I'm okay with it. Like it takes a lot to upset me. But when I bought Madden 22, I was like, oh, it's the same game. Same exact game as Madden 20. Nothing really changed. So, anyways, I wasted my money on Madden 22. So, what I do on TikTok, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to have fun with it. I'm going to play franchise mode. I'm going to simulate every team's franchise mode, take control of them for the 2022 offseason, see who the free agents are, and sign them for that specific team based off their team needs. And I came out with one for Detroit Lions, and I came out with, okay, maybe they need to offer a big contract to a wide receiver. And some free agent wide receivers are going to be Michael Gallup, Juju Smith-Schuster, Mike Williams, Chris Godwin, Devontae Adams even as well. I think he's going to sign the franchise tag. And then you talked about Allen Robinson as well. I had them going for a big-bodied wide receiver because you have Amon-Ra St. Brown who can work at the slot. You need someone on the outside, and Mike Williams makes the most sense for the Detroit Lions. He's a guy that the Lions should be targeting. So any team that needs big-bodied receivers, I would say Mike Williams would be the number one target. For anyone else, any of those receivers, Allen Robinson, Juju Smith-Schuster, Michael Gallup, literally anyone that needs a wide receiver, like the Saints need a wide receiver so bad. The Falcons with Calvin Ridley up in the air and Russell Gage now about to be a free agent. Like they need some receiving help. So don't be surprised if any of those teams were to make a move for one of those receivers. Who's another team that needs receiver help? I can't think of one off the top of my head. Oh gosh, Denver Broncos are good. Chargers are good, depending on Mike Williams. You know, that could factor in. The Raiders could use a receiver. I mean, I like Zay Jones. I like Hunter Renfrow. Cool, but they're not like if they go somewhere else, they wouldn't be known as like a number one target. You know what I'm saying? So Juju Smith-Schuster to the Raiders can make sense. Allen Robinson, if he needs a fresh start to the Raiders, can make a lot of sense. Yeah, just some teams. Isn't Mike Williams currently Los Angeles Chargers and Juju Smith-Schuster Steelers? Allen Robinson. Melee, I'm confused by your question. I think you're asking like if they're going to be playing. No, they're all going to be free agents. I think Allen Robinson is going to be a free agent. I don't know that for sure, but Juju and Mike Williams for sure are going to be free agents. I know that for sure. Miguel, tuning in. It's been a while. Hello, guys. Miguel, thank you for tuning in all the way from Puerto Rico. Brett Fortseth. Landing spots for RW. How's the snow and ATL? You picked up on it. Well, listen, dude. Let me actually show you something on Twitter that I was able to capture real quick, which, by the way, let me show you a tweet that I tweeted out. I forgot to show this during that segment. Difference between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Cincinnati Bengals game was it was poor officiating in general with 49ers Cowboys. It sucks, but it's the rule. But I sympathize with the Cowboys fans, though that was rough. But yeah, that was my opinion on. Whoop, well, I'm in the corner right there. Well, that was my opinion on the officiating in that game. So actually,
oh yeah,
there it is.
Look at the views. Hot tub, 14-0. They coming back.
I didn't expect the audio to play right there, but yeah, that kind of gives you an idea of how the snow was in ATL. So we have a hot tub in our backyard. So I was able to hop on there and let me go ahead and show you that video again. If you guys are interested in that.
Oh, yeah. Look at the views. Look at the views. Hot tub. Hot tub. 14-0. They coming back? Oh, yeah.
The answer to that question, no. They did not come back. Talking about the Eagles and the Buccaneers. I was able to hang out in the hot tub in the snow and watch the NFL playoffs, which was actually, it was nice. Like being in that environment, being in the snow. But the fact that it was so steamy, it was hard to see. But anyways, it was nice. Landing spots for Russell Wilson, the Saints, the Broncos. I don't think he wants to go there, but they're going to make a push. The Bears, I think he wants to go there, but I think they're fine with Justin Fields. Good. Saints or Steelers. Probably my top two. My top two that I think that Russell Wilson would be okay with. All names I would avoid in the draft. This is a great wide receiver draft class. Roth saying that. Yeah, you got Jameson Williams. His ACL injury is going to hurt a bit, but could be a top target. James Washington is a sleeper free agent wide receiver, in my opinion. Yeah, well, I don't know why they didn't involve him more in the offense. They usually just like, hey, let's bring in more and more wide receivers, but whenever those wide receivers are out with injuries, James Washington steps up to the plate. And I think yesterday he was operating as the number 4, number 5 wide receiver in that offense, depending on if you want to view him as a priority over Ray McLeod. And he still was able to get the job done. So, yeah, James Washington is a sleeper free agent for sure. And Gary Santos saying Darius Slay trying to recruit Mike Will to Philly. Dude, any wide receiver would be a huge help for the Philadelphia Eagles. Get Jalen Hurts some help ASAP. But that's it for this episode of Time to Football. I'm going to go ahead and end the show right here. But we are very much appreciative of you guys joining us for this episode of Time to Football. Make sure you guys subscribe, like this video. See NFL postseason. Rams Cardinals here tonight. Enjoy that game. Let me know who you guys have in winning that game. Should be a good one as we wrap up Wildcard weekend. With all that said, thank you guys so much for joining in. And remember, bowl games are pointless. Fleshlight Bowl.